Okay guys, let's look at our first guitar chord. Today we're going to learn the open D chord, which sounds like this. The little diagram to the side, you can see that there's 3 circles. This is where we put our fingers. So the diagram is pretty much a little picture of your guitar neck, the vertical lines being your strings and the horizontal lines being your frets. So as you can see, the top, you've got that thick dark line, which is your nut, and then your first fret, second fret, third fret, so on. Right, so we're going to go one finger at a time. We're going to put our first finger on the second fret, so 1, 2 of the third string up, which is your G string, like that. What you have to do when you're playing chords, you have to make sure that your fingers are close to the fret wire, but not touching the fret wire. So about there is fine. Your second finger is going to go underneath. It's going to go on the high E string like that, again on the second fret. And then our third finger is going to go in between them on the B string on the third fret. When you first start playing guitar, your third finger might naturally go there. It's important not to try and get that stretch so you get close to the fret wire, otherwise you'll get a dead muffled note like that. And you might have to literally use your other hand and move it down like that. Cool. So what you need to do next, once you've got your chord down like that and you've stretched and your wrist is absolutely knacking, is you need to make sure that your fingers are only touching the strings that they're meant to be touching. You don't want strings muted like that. So what you do, first finger first, and you make sure your first finger isn't touching the open D string. So if you're getting that sound, you need to move your first finger down a bit. Try not to bend the string though, because then you change the pitch of the note to get the open sound. Next, you need to make sure that your third finger, this one here, isn't touching the string above. So if you're getting that kind of sound on the G string, you need to move your third finger down a bit. Again, try not to bend the string. You should be getting that kind of sound there. Our last one that we need to be aware of is muting the little E string. So you need to make sure you don't flatten your third finger, so you really need to arch it up. I'll try and show you there. So you're arching your finger. See how much space is behind? Like that, to make sure the little E string's ringing out. Because a lot of people will flatten the third finger and stop that note ringing out. You make sure you arch your fingers right round. You can do that by moving your thumb round a bit. That'll open your hand out, give yourself a bit more space. Like that. When you're putting down your chord, a lot of my students tend to go first finger first, second finger second, third finger first. It's quite a logical, easy way to think about it. And then you've got some kind of order to be putting down your fingers. Eventually you'll be able to put them all down at the same time. But just for now, put them one at a time. Next thing we need to look at is thumb position. When you're first starting out, your thumb needs to be right on the back of the guitar, right in the middle, so you can't see it if you're looking straight on. The benefits of this is you start to strengthen the muscles around your thumb, which you need when you start playing bar chords. Also, it opens up your hand so your palm isn't touching the guitar neck. Kind of think of it as like the bottom of your guitar neck is red hot and you can't touch it, otherwise you'll burn your hands. So you need loads of space to be able to fit your fingers through that gap there and still be able to play the chord. Once you start touching your guitar neck with your thumb, you start getting all kinds of weird sounds like that, and you don't get the proper chord ringing out. Right, so now if you look back at your diagram, you'll see 2 X's, and they're above the E and the A string. They mean that you don't play those strings. So for the D chord, we're only strumming the D, G, B and E, so the bottom 4 strings. What you'll find is when you're playing this chord, your fingers will hurt, your wrist will hurt, so try and make sure you give yourself loads of time between practicing to rest up and let your blistered fingers heal, because you don't want them getting so bad that you have to take weeks off guitar to let them heal. And then have some fun with it. I'm going to show you quickly a couple of ways which you can practice this chord. So the first way is to play the chord, get it down, and then strum the chord, and play each note separately, and back up again. And make sure none of the notes are muted, so you don't want this kind of sound. You don't want that sound, you want them all ringing out nicely. So you strum it, pick the notes, and strum it again. Another way you can practice it is to strum the chord, take the chord off, put it back on, strum it again, take it off, put it back on, strum it again. It's important that you memorize this chord shape, so if someone says to you, can you play the D chord, you say yeah, and you just play it straight away. So give yourself a time frame, maybe a week, to be able to play this chord without looking at the picture, and then you can move on to the next chord.